So this Sanyo turntable, this TP1030, has been sitting on this desk since the end, or at least the mid end of January. I can't remember when I first got in here. But I got in here and looked at all the passives, and I just did a visual inspection because I don't have the tools to test every single little capacitor, nor do I have the patience to take every single capacitor out there and test them. So we just did a visual inspection. Everything looked fine. None of the capacitors were bulging or leaking or any of that stuff. So that was good. I did put this thing back together. And when I put it back together, the motor wasn't turning. So old fat fingered Mike, whatever he did beforehand, long story short, the power board and there's a wire that runs to the motor that got disconnected, and that was the root cause. So we got that in soldered together, and so it turns. It keeps decent speed. I've got a little Audio Technica 3600 on there. Um, Keeps okay speed. I think we got it at 33. Little dudes are standing still. Um, the auto return stuff tends to work. I've got the guard on there, so don't freak out. Um, but yeah, I think we're in a good spot on this guy. So there's two things left to do for this Sanyo automatic turntable. One, obviously, hook it up to the stereo, run it through its paces, make sure we don't have like some sort of weird grounding hum. Make sure that it it can handle the workload of listening or playing records pretty regularly. I don't see why it wouldn't. It's not like I did a whole lot of work on the inside of this thing. But the other thing is to shine up the dust cover. There's some minor scratches on there, so we'll get the little scratch repair kit, and there's some discoloration I think we can take off with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. This thing was dirty, but not as dirty as that Pioneer that I recently worked on. So run this on the paces, run this through the paces, get the head shell, not the head shell, the dust cover cleaned up, and then we'll be putting this little lady up on Facebook Marketplace and try and rehome her, and then it will be up to um, I think the next project is either going to be one of the duals, or I need to pull in I need to do a little bit of work on my one of my main tables, the Gerard 2000B. I had ordered um, an upgrade to the platter bearings from Audio Vault a long, long time ago, and I just hadn't gotten around to installing those. And so I need a little step drill to make the center post, the center opening a little bit bigger for one of the washers, and then hopefully that'll get rid of the rumble because I'm looking at upgrading the stylus or the cartridge on that 2000B. Also, I want to take the tone arm off and like relubricate the bearings underneath the tone arm to get it to move a little bit freely, a little bit more freer than what it is to try and reduce any kind of friction. Because I want to either put a Shure V15 Type 2 with a with the LP Gears Vivid Line replacement stylus. I've got the Shure V15 on there right now, but it's got the N75 stylus on there, which tracks at 2 grams, and the LP gear I think tracks at 1.5. So I definitely need to get a little bit more movement in, a little less restriction in that tone arm before I go down that road, or any of these roads really. So, and then I did have an AT VM95E, but that stylus, I wore that stylus out, and I expedited the needing to replace that stylus because when I took that sled off, I accidentally bit the needle. So, yeah, so upgrading that to the micro line from Audio Technica, or just buying a new Audio Technica 540 ml and putting that on there. So regardless of which one of those I end up going with, I want to get rid of the rumble, and I also want to um, free up some movement in that tone arm because I was a little hesitant on working on that tone arm in that turntable because that was the first Zero series I'd ever worked on, so I was a little gun shy, but now that I've got a few zeros and a few 990Bs under my belt, I feel pretty confident I can take that thing apart fairly quickly and have it put back together, um, and and get it to where I need it to be to really benefit from those upgrades.